Go.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell us something? Oh, you already told us about yourself, but can you tell us like something more about yourself, maybe about like why you chose to join this organization? Did something motivate you?
Okay. Well, I went to I finished college in 2012. I did a lot of social justice work. I worked a lot with the immigrant community, a lot of the poor communities, the LGBT communities. I was working with feminist organizations in our schools. And so when I graduated, I was like, well, I need to do something around social justice. I wasn't really looking for the money. I was more looking into something I really like to do and be exposed with the community. I like to work with communities and have places where we can all talk. And the opportunity arose here at Peace or Violence about almost 2 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
Can you tell us more about your organization, Peace or Violence?
Okay. So I myself, I'm in the prevention department. So that means that we're educators and we go into schools, that is middle schools, high schools, and sometimes we get invited to even to go to colleges and give talks on anything ranging from unhealthy relationships to healthy relationships. When we have Denim Day in April, it's like we talk about issues of sexual assault. What does that look like? What is it? So that's some of the stuff that we do in the education component. I also do community organizing with parents of various schools as well. So work a lot with fathers, and mostly there's a lot of mothers who actually come to the talks. And then we talk on how we can educate ourselves and spread that in our neighborhood, our society, our families as a whole. That's prevention. And then we have intervention, which is right here, which is where you meet counselors, where people who have a need can come and talk on one-on-one, or maybe they have group settings. So let me go back a little. So we're an agency that deals with issues of domestic violence, sexual assault, barter, and any type of violence or interpersonal violence. This agency has been here for 43 years, and it was established since 1971. And it was established because a woman was raped in Sunset Boulevard. And at the time in the 70s, there was no resources for women. So six friends of this woman decided that they weren't going to take it no more. That this was enough. There was a lot of this happening, and women need to be heard. So they started writing flyers with the numbers, and then saying if you've been violated, if you see domestic violence, please give us a call. And actually, they started off of the LA Women's Center, Los Angeles Women's Center, and they started just answering phone calls. And ever since then, we've been doing this job. Furthermore, we also have, we provide services in Spanish, English, and American Sign Language. I think we're like one of the only of the few in America who have this service of having help for the people who are deaf. We also have legal advocacy, which means that we don't have attorneys per se, but they know the legal system. Because say in a given instance, there's domestic violence, and the woman decides to leave the husband or the partner. Well, it's very scary sometimes because you have to get the cops involved. Once you get the cops involved, then the detective gets involved, and then now the judge is getting involved, and now you have a letter that you have to go on a certain day. Well, it's kind of scary for people, especially you're reading a letter and you're like, I don't know what this jargon, right? The language, right? Law jargon, right? So we have staff here who are able to interpret that for someone and be like, oh, this is what it means. We also have advocates that if, say, for instance, this woman is going through the divorce with such person, and obviously they have to see the ex-husband there at the court, it can be frightening, right? And sometimes women or those girls or those victims don't have anybody to help them to be there. Maybe family's not there, maybe they don't have friends. Well, here at Peace or Violence, we'll send an advocate with them so that they don't feel alone. We have two offices. This is the main office in downtown LA, and our other office is in Pasadena. And I think that's about it.
So, and so how many people are like working at the organization, and about how many like, would you call them patients or like clients that come in?
Okay, clients, providers.
Yeah, like every week.
Okay, so staff, we're about 46. 40 of them are women, 6 of us are men. As far as, I don't work in the intervention department, so I can't really tell you the number of how many people we see on a daily basis or monthly basis, but I can say that we're behind like 3 weeks to a month sometimes, because people are just, the
There's a
need is
lot
out
of
there.
people.
The need is out there, so if I'm telling you that people are being backlogged,
Mhm.
it's just there's constant people coming in and out. Maybe I can ask someone that knows that answer, and then I can probably give you that information later.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Good. And so how have you, so you said you go to schools and you educate them? So like what things do you like teach them about? What do you specifically do like on a day-to-day basis if you go out and talk to the students?
Okay, so we have a curriculum. It's called In Touch with Teens, and there's about 14 units in there. Now, depending, because we have to be also flexible with the schools, because sometimes teachers will say, oh, well, we can't have you here for 14 days. We'll give you maybe 10 units or 10 days. So we'll do like a unit a week. Or sometimes if the teacher is flexible enough, maybe we can have 2 units in a week, so then it can go faster, right? But we start with roots of violence, power and control, unhealthy relationships, cycle of violence, healthy relationships, peacemakers, media impact, and so on. So we have a variety of lessons that we teach.
And so, okay. So we wanted to know if you're able to measure the impact that you have on these kids, or are you not able to?
Yes, we are. So we have surveys. So the first day, when we get to class and we don't know anybody and they don't know us, and before we even start the implementation, we give a pre-survey. And it's, right now it's like 40 plus questions, and it ranges from like, what is violence to you? Have you ever seen violence? Who does the violence? Questions ranging from like, do you think it's okay for a boy to hit a girl? Do you think it's okay for a girl to hit a boy? And then after we give our implementation, say all those 10 units, 10 weeks, then the last day we give a post survey. And then from there we have a survey monkey where we put all this information into a computer database, and then obviously there's a system that calibrates and sees the changes or not. But yeah, there's ways that we can pull out this information and say, okay, there's some changes in the way youth are reacting or thinking.
Are you able to send us some of this information, like the statistics?
I can.
Yeah, that would be good, so we're doing a senior thesis project, and this is our senior thesis topic, and so
Okay.
yeah, we would like to use this maybe in our presentations.
Okay. Right, so every year we have some of this stuff. So obviously we're barely started 2015, so we don't have everything.
Mhm.
But previous year, maybe you could look at
Yeah.
some trends from previous years.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also, so is it okay to ask about more personal opinions from you? Is that okay with you?
That's fine.
Okay. So we wanted to know how you feel about double standards, like how women are looked down upon for being sexually promiscuous, but guys are more respected for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. So other double standards as well.
Yeah, so then you're asking my personal opinion.
Mhm.
Right, so no, I definitely don't agree with these double standards. I mean, I think that's the root cause of why there's so much violence. That the moment that we think that a girl who is promiscuous, who wants to have a lot of sex, right away is called what?
Slut.
Slut, yeah, let's say those words because, I mean, they're hoes, they're easy, right? That's what you
Mhm.
mean. And the moment that a boy or young man is having a lot of sex, oh, he's the man,
Mhm.
he has game, he's a pimp, he's a player. So it's more of a positive.
Mhm.
And for the girl, for the woman, it's negative. Well, if we keep thinking with this thinking, then we're always going to look at women or girls as being less than or inferior. So it's societal, it's culture obviously, and that's something that we need to change. But definitely no, I don't agree with name calling or putting even a sticker or label into it. You know, it's up to the individual how his or her sexuality is, and you know that they need to do what they need to do. But I do have a problem with people that start labeling other people. Oh, this is what they are.
And do you think that the media plays a part in this?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, we can turn on the channel. You know, we can turn on. I don't know. I know if MTV still has, uh,
Teen
like,
Moms or
like,
something?
well, like music TV. I don't know, or
Music videos?
music videos, right? So I don't know what the youth is watching nowadays. Maybe YouTube now is big now, right? So right away you click on YouTube and say there's a new hip hop star, say in the Philippines or anywhere in the world. It could be American, right? You always see the man or the young man dressed up, nice suit with a tie and has the nice like Italian shoes. But the minute you see the dancers in the background, the women, the girls, they're always dressed with like almost nothing, right? They're almost dressed like you were at the club. They're almost dressed as if like they work at some parlor or some, right? So yeah, so definitely the media images that youth or even as grown-ups we see is like, oh, it's okay, the men can wear such thing, but then we're already thinking like, oh, girls and women should be dressed like this.
Mhm.
So it's a trend, right? It's culture, it's trends. So if young girls are like, oh, so what's sexy? Oh, well, I just finished watching the Pitbull music, right, about his latest song, and all the girls are dressed like this. Therefore, I need to dress like this. Or what one is watching.
Yeah.
Do you think that has a lot to do with why society is starting to see women as objects instead of human beings?
No, I don't believe that. Like all of a sudden now, because of hip hop, this is happening. This has been happening for generations. I mean, we have to look into culture. You know, we live in a patriarchal culture, or institutions made by men. I mean, I looked at Revlon or old like 1940s, 1950s Levi commercials and stuff. Girls or women were still portrayed as objects, you know, showing a little cleavage or showing a little something more than, you know. Obviously, before they were a little more dressed, but in those standards back in the days, it was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I can't believe she showed a little bit,
Yeah.
right? But it's just as we progress with media, it seems like we can get away with more things. Just the other day, I just saw that it was okay for Kim Kardashian. She was outside her home and she was bending over, and it was like, literally, she was showing everything exposed. Hey, but it's okay because TMC is putting it out. It's okay because Fox News and they have it, and Twitter accounts and everybody's tweeting it, and so I don't think it's okay, and I don't think it is. That's because why? I think this has been happening for generations, and maybe we're more aware now. That it's like, oh, okay, maybe people are catching on that. Huh? Media does send these kind of signals.
Do you think we've been like? Do you think we've been like desensitized to it?
You mean like normalized?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I mean, right? I mean, you can pray, walk out, and then maybe get on the 110 freeway, going home, and then right there you see a billboard, right? Victoria's Secret. Oh, okay. It's okay for a woman to show in a small thong and in a bra, and it's almost showing, it's almost like pornographic, but you're driving, and it's okay, right? Because it's common. We see these billboards all over the place. We can turn our TV, and you watch the movie, and right away, when you see the commercials, the Axe commercials for men, right? You spray it, and all these women are coming on with you and whatnot. So yeah, this is very normalized, and I think that's what I said. You need to have consciousness that, hey, well, maybe there's something wrong about this.
And how do you think like this problem can best be like countered or solved?
The issue of violence against women, or the media itself.
You talk about both.
But all, well, I definitely believe there has to be a social shift, a cultural shift, a consciousness shift, a mind shift on the way, especially men, how men perceive women. Because once again, a lot of these billboards, a lot of the media that we see, they're products of, and I think we have, race is very important, we have to think about it. It's white men who are the executive directors of such given corporations. They're the ones with the money, with the millions of dollars, and they're investing into media. Because if you put a billboard and you try to sell jeans, well, you're gonna try to have the best models to sell you that jean. But sometimes it's like, well, it's not the model that did it, it's not the photographer who's doing it. I think we have to go all the way to the top. Because sometimes it's those executive directors who are actually sitting in a table and they say, hey, this is what sells, sex is selling, or being sexy is selling, or violence is selling, right? Because movies are right now about about the sniper guy, right? Or anything that has to do a lot of violence or anything like that, or superheroes or anything like that, oh, it sells, right? But the moment you have a documentary of a child, say it's a child soldier and how he came out of Africa and whatnot, that's going to make it a big box office, right? So I definitely believe that it's us as a society bringing consciousness and actually asking the questions like, hey, like, do we really need to have this? I mean, we're not accountable. I don't feel like I'm part of that we in society, but mass society believes like, oh, that's okay. It is an effect. It's not offensive. It's a billboard. It's just a Victoria's Secret billboard. Well, then that's their way of thinking. But I think some of us, we, on the outside, you have to have a change in narrative or a paradigm, the way you see things. And I believe, how can we change this? Well, I believe educating, especially, if you know now something new, maybe you can talk to your friends about it and say, hey, I learned this, what do you think? Ask those questions. Maybe they'll believe you, or maybe they'll be like, oh, you're wrong, like, I'm still gonna believe my own way. Okay, good, but now you're conscious of something different. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where it starts, maybe educating. I'm a big advocate of educating, especially the youth, because as we become old, well then, we become old, but then the leaders, you're already here, and and the younger generations are gonna be the leaders of us later on, so yeah, definitely, if we start earlier, the better.
Do you guys have any other questions?
Do you believe that children in society are now being brought up to think, how you're saying, like how women are inferior to men? Like, do you think it starts at like a young age, so like as young children?
Well, I believe it's a cultural thing. You have to put into perspective it's a culture and race thing, right? I mean, so let me speak. You said from my personal experience, right? So I am Mexican American. Maybe some of us might have these experiences, but the moment that a kid in the Mexican American culture, Latino American culture, Hispanic American culture, because of where our parents and grandparents have come from, is that, or a lot of countries too, because I traveled extensively. So the Middle East, Africa, even Asia, right, where as soon as the boy can walk or talk, right, the dad would say, hey, don't play with dolls. Those are for girls. Mm-hmm. Hey, don't color with pink because pink is for girls. Get black or blue because those are the colors. Or the mom says, hey, come help me clean up. No, you don't clean up because you're a boy, you're a man. That's a girl's and woman's job. So you have to take because the cultures in society, that's how it is. And as soon as the girl gets to be 5 and starts growing up and develop, and she's playing with little cars, dad and mom are like, no, that's for boys. Go get the doll, the Barbie doll, I don't know, whatever it is. And then as she's growing, hey, don't help your cousin cut the grass or help him move the boxes. Come into the house and clean up the laundry room or come clean the dishes. So yeah, definitely, I believe the mothers and fathers have a huge responsibility on the upbringing of the children. I'm not saying all parents are doing this. I myself, I'm a father, and if my daughter wants a car toy, I will go buy her the car toy. Right now she's all about superheroes. She wears all the superhero shirts, jeans, and tennis shoes. Superheroes are like, a lot of people are like, oh, is that a little boy? I'm like, no, it's a little girl. but that's society, right? Because girls are not supposed to wear this. My daughter, in reality, needs to be wearing a little dress and ponytails and nice little white shoes, and she's just be carrying her doll. And I don't agree with that. So I allow my daughter to be who she is as a small person, and sometimes we have to allow kids to do that too. But take your culture, your society into consideration, your values, right? Your morale, right? How your parents brought your parents up and how your parents are going to bring you up. So there's a lot to consider, but I think it's a good way to start with kids.
Hmm?
Do you have any more questions? Or should I?
We have.
I know, but okay. Do you guys want to?
So like for like costumes, like what do you think of women wearing like the costumes like people make that are like sexy looking?
So who, like what, like you mean costumes?
Like Halloween costumes.
Okay, well, so once again, right, so we gotta think who's making the costumes, right? Now, I also believe that women and girls should be empowered to wear whatever you want. So if a woman and a girl feels empowered to say, hey, I wanna wear this sexy costume, by all means, you can wear it. Now the only thing that I kind of would disagree now is like on the men's side, because then boys and men are start thinking like sexist ideas, they start thinking like ways that, oh yeah, well see that's why, because she dresses like that, that's why she's this, or this is why. So it goes back to being conscious. So like I said, it's all about empowering and let people be who they are, but without pointing the finger and say, oh, you are this because of that. So regardless, when it has Halloween in America, I don't celebrate it. I don't dress as anything. I mean, but people do. They like it. They want to spend $100 on an outfit and go for it. But I think it's just a consciousness. But just because a girl wear a sexy costume does not mean that a guy can just come and grope her or touch her or say, hey, you want to have sex with me? Or like, hey, if I find you pretty, like, what's your name? What's your number? See, that's when I have a trouble and difficulty, because that girl, that woman should have the right to wear that and not be bothered by anybody and just have a good time or whatever it is, right? So that's my take on that.
So the reason why I think we asked that is because we like to cosplay. So it's when you dress up as like a character and like we sew the costumes and we make like props, and so we go to like convention centers, like comic conventions, and then we
San
would,
Diego
like,
and all that?
we went to the Los Angeles.
Los Angeles one, right? Was the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But we didn't get to go to San Diego one. That was Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah. So we just wanted to know, like, do we have like a responsibility if we are bothered by it? Like when we do wear these costumes, like knowing like going into these situations that we might be bothered, do you think it's our responsibility?
That's a tough one. I mean, because okay, so now I understand, like Comic-Con, is that what it's called?
Comic-Con or
Right.
anime convention?
Right. So then it's interesting that I don't read comics. I'm not. I know Spider-Man and them, but I never had a comic book, and I'll read it. But I've been exposed. I have friends who are into that, and I'll pick up their magazines or whatever I'm going through, and it's interesting to see that the male superheroes, they're always like dressed in big suits or big armor, and they're like manly men. But like when I flip through those pages and I look women sheroes, because they're not heroes, they're sheroes. They're wearing like a bikini or very like, and they're showing a lot of cleavage, and they're voluminous, right? They're like, a lot, So it goes back to who created these magazines, right? There's got to be an artist who was drawing, and this is how beautiful she had to, because she has to be sexy, right? Because if I believe Comic-Con, I saw some documentaries, and the women who do the dresses, they do it by themselves. They always want to be better than last year and better than other women, and because they have to show more, they have to be a little sexy but mean at the same time, right? So once again, it's like, who am I to judge that person if she wants to dress like that? I'm nobody to judge. But keep in mind though that there'll be a lot of men, a lot of guys who might then be fixated, say on the woman's or girl's butt, because the tight jeans are so tight, and right, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just up to the individual, and by just being conscious, like, well, wait, why does woman, she superhero have to be all sexy? Why can't it be like rough and ugly and tough with metal and stuff? But you don't see that. I don't think I've seen it. It's the other way around. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I've seen. But once again, it's like if a woman feels empowered, she feels pretty and beautiful and powerful, and by all means, then do it. It's just that I wish society won't, with men, won't be like, oh wow, did you see that? Oh, she's so good looking. And then that's when the issues arise.
Do you want to go?
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know if you said this before, but what is your goal? I don't know. I just want to. If you said it before, I just want to know again. Like, what is your goal? Like, do you have any goal? Like, or are you just trying to like? What is your goal?
So what is my goal? Like here in the agency?
Like, what is the
life?
agency's goal? Yeah, the agency's goal.
Well, we want to prevent and end violence. We want to eradicate it
And
for women and men alike.
you're in the prevention section. So what do you do to prevent?
Well, I'm an educator, so I go and educate. So I believe if we start educating, and then you have those tools to be like, so like say an unhealthy relationship, right? A lot of times we think like jealousy, oh, it's okay, he's my boyfriend, he should be jealous, right? He should be telling me what to do at all times, right? He should get mad at me, right? Okay. So we understand that, yeah, people are jealous. I mean, by human nature, yeah, it's okay to care for your loved one or the person you like. But there's a difference between like, kind of like healthy jealousy, where it's okay at one level, but then there's a difference where there's like jealousy, where they're like, I don't want you talking to those friends no more. I want you to be home by 5. I don't want you dressed like this. I want you to wear a sweater from now on. Now, there's a difference between that jealousy, see? So as we educate people or the youth, then they start saying, oh, wait, I think my boyfriend's really jealous. There's a problem maybe with us in this relationship, because things build up in unhealthy relationships, right? Maybe you have a boyfriend that you just barely met because your girlfriend said, hey, we all have boyfriends. Do you have a boyfriend? And what do young girls do? The first guy they say, oh, John, he's so cute. Yeah, be with John. And then what does the girl do? Hey, John, you got a boyfriend? So now you came into a relationship with someone you hardly know, and now as time progresses, you're like, oh my God, John is so controlling, he's so jealous, he doesn't allow me to do such things. And what do you try to do? If you try to break up, what the boys say? Oh, I will kill myself. Manipulation. Or I will go kill you. You know, manipulating, like, oh my God, now he's even for reals because he's really a violent guy. Or like, hey, if you leave me, nobody ever's gonna love you the way I love you, so because you know you're ugly, but I love you and I think you're beautiful. So there's a lot of like manipulation going on in relationships. But sometimes, I mean, growing up, I didn't have these tools. I did not know best. But I think like if we can offer that education, now young people can be like, wait, I want to be in a healthy relationship. I don't think John is the right person for me. And that's where I believe that education will prevent you from you coming to go into intervention. Because intervention is already like something happened to you and now we have to help you out. Like we already have to fix what happened. It's kind of going to the doctors and we have to see, okay, what's the best treatment for you because it happened. Well, prevention is like, let's not get there. Let's stop it here. Let's just stop it here before we need to get more people involved. Maybe we could just end it here. And that's my job. That's what we like to do. Like I said, I also grow with help parents, mothers and fathers. Understand like why kids are acting up or why like maybe they're not asking the right questions. Maybe something happened at school. They got beat up, but they're sitting in the corner and and that's what the parents do. Tell me what happened to you. Tell me. You don't tell me I'm gonna hit you. You don't tell me I'm gonna take away the TV. You need to tell me. And do parents then allow that kid to say, hey mom, like, this happened to me? No, right? They push them. So then it's also educating the community about issues like this, because the community members have sons and daughters. They need to understand like, hey, this is the new youth. Yeah, now they're the millennials. They're more technological and whatnot. That's fine. Your parents, but our parents went through their youth at some time, and they were rebellious against their parents. So it's just finding how to have like better communication at all levels. That's what we're trying to do.
You said you were talking about that women. No, that as society we see women differently and we see men differently.
Mhm.
So, do you want society to see them equally?
Yeah, definitely. This is what we're looking for, equality, right? Equality.
What
Men are-
exactly
men-
is equality?
That's a good question. So I think it's on the eye of the beholder, but I believe it's like to me. I mean, so I'm asking me. It's like equality, right? I mean, Congress cannot put their acts together, and right now they have the ceiling, right? The ceiling, what do they call it? And where the woman can only get certain pay, and that's it. Men are here, but women can never get the pay raise to at least meet them here or more. So even Congress, even our own leaders, can even pass a law that states that women should earn the same as men. I mean, I look it up. I mean, the statistics are that for every dollar a man makes,
Like 77 cents.
75
well,
cents.
well, that's a white woman.
Oh.
That's a white woman. I don't know. But if you look into like Mexican, Asian American, African American woman, I think it's 69 cents. So I mean, if you're working as a teacher and you're getting $1 per hour, then if she's working as a teacher, she should earn $1 for that hour. What's the difference? You went to UCLA, she went to UCLA. You graduated with honors, she graduated with honors. So why are you earning $1 and she's earning 75 cents? Yeah, so and that's a problem then. If you don't have equality, if we don't have equality, women are here, then men are superior, and women are what? Inferior. So until we have that equality, I believe then that thing about superiority and inferiority would disappear, which is equals.
So, but you didn't answer what is equality. Like what is equality? You gave me an example how what equality should be, but you didn't say what was equality. What do you think equality is?
I mean, equality is that, like I said, if there's a job opening and a man and a woman go, that they have a fairness, and that they both have a good shot at getting that job.
But I think that's different because like
Okay.
the job is like you know the same thing as the apple. Like
Okay.
what about like let's say equality? Sorry.
No, go for it. No, just
No, it's
breathe.
just-
Take your time.
Yeah.
We have time. We have time.
It's because I was in philosophy class and I was just
No, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not a philosopher major, but
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it.
No, but like because like what they said was you want fairness.
Mhm.
We all want to be fair. Like you think like society wants. Well, we think society wants to be fair and everything.
Mhm.
But what like that seems fair. If you have like the same education and everything, have the same job, pay, that seems fair. But like, what if I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm blanking out for a minute.
Want us to come back to you?
We can come back. Yeah, come back. Think about it.
No, but like I don't know. Do you guys have like anything to add to what I'm saying, or do you have no idea what I'm talking about?
Do you mean fairness in like society and how people view each other, or just in the workforce?
I guess yeah, like in society, like how we view each other. Like, can we really view each other as equal?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, but I don't think it's up to Pablo to figure this out. It's
No,
a society.
No, but like, what do you think? Do you
It's
think we
culture.
can see each other as equal? Like,
I would hope so. That would be ideal. I mean, do you have a mother? Do
Yeah.
you have sisters?
Yeah. What-
Okay, so do you want equality for them? Do you want them to be treated just the same as men and boys out there? Or you feel like, no, like that's never gonna happen?
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it's hard, but
Do you believe that equality means that if a mother comes home after 2 jobs and there's dishes on the sink,
Mhm.
that maybe the dad or the son should go help and maybe do the dishes? That's the equality I'm looking for. That they should share responsibilities and chores.
Mhm.
And just if the man is tired after a whole week and stuff, and maybe the bushes need to be trimmed or something, and the lady can help, why can't she help the man?
well, is that really a problem?
It is a problem because society right now is saying that girls don't do that, and that men are not supposed to clean the dishes.
Is that
You're Latino, no, aren't you?
Yeah,
Do you see it or no? Or your family is all equal?
it's mostly equal. I mean, the only thing is my dad doesn't cook,
Okay.
but that's because he doesn't know how to cook.
Okay. And why doesn't he not know how to cook?
Because my mom cooks for him. So.
Okay, right, but now look, go farther. Why does your dad not know how to cook?
'Cause- well, okay, so like what my dad said is like what you said, like men shouldn't cook, like the woman should cook, but men should work, I guess. Like we're hunters and gatherers.
Mhm.
Men are usually the one that hunts,
Mhm.
and the women are usually the gatherers.
Mhm.
Like it's
Yeah, but that's like so like 1800s. We're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2015.
Yeah, yeah.
We're 2015. I don't know. Like
That's
we're not with bows and
yeah,
arrows
but that's
anymore.
still instinct, isn't it?
It's instinct, yeah. But I think you have to evolve and you have to
Yeah.
progress.
But do you think we'll ever, like, you can't just, it's hard to fight instinct, like, it would always be there, it's always basic to it, like, us human.
Yeah, no, so that definitely is like this is in your genome, it's in your blood,
Yeah.
right? It's encoded. So yeah, but I believe that as we get educated, as we progress in society, then you start changing that genome. You start changing that mindset, so that future generations start thinking different. See, like I like to cook.
Yeah.
I will spend 2-3 hours cooking and clean my dishes, but that's because I grew up with my grandma and my aunts and my mom, and at least my dad or my uncles were never say, hey, don't do that. So I was allowed to do that. I'm talking about the people who are like, oh no, mijo, don't do that because that's your mom's job, so you can't cook. That's what I mean. So I mean, yeah, you have a good point. I'm not a philosopher. I studied a little bit anthropology, but I do know that, yeah, that sometimes it's the structures. Patriarchal structures is structures with the woman or the leaders. Women say how to do it and everything. I mean, if you go back in history, systems were not patriarchal. Systems were matriarchal.
Yeah.
But somehow men, bling, at the 1600s, the Enlightenment era, decided that, hey, this is the way to do it. The woman's way is not the way, it's the man's way. And it's been like that ever since. So then if you're talking about like it's a human instinct and all that, well then, we started with women instincts, women were the leaders. You look thousands of years back. I'm just saying, I don't look it up.
Okay.
It's okay, don't be shy.
So you talked about denim day, right?
Denim Day, yes.
Yeah, what do you guys do for denim day?
Okay, so a little bit of history on Denim Day.
Oh yeah, we looked it up today. Actually.
Oh, okay, so what is Denim Day? What can you tell about Denim Day?
Well, all we know is that it started with, I think, a woman in Italy, right? And then she was wearing tight jeans, and so then, oh wait, no, wait, so her driver instructor came to pick her up, and then he took her to like an isolated road, and then he raped her, and then he made her drive back home and threatened to kill her if she told anyone what happened.
Correct.
And then she told her parents. They went to court, and then the court said that it was consensual sex because.
Well, he went to jail first,
Oh.
but then he
appealed
appealed it. He appealed it.
And then he was released.
Right, because the judge found that it was impossible for this young lady to be raped because her tights were so tight
Mhm.
that she had to help him take the jeans off. Right, so then what happened was that senators and women in Italy, you know how people in business wear skirts and dresses and all, they said, we're going to wear jeans. That's a statement of saying like that this also could happen if you have tight jeans, right? Because it can happen, right? Because we don't know, like, he will threaten her, right? I mean, that's a big, what are you going to do? So we do have Denim Day. So for the month of April, we, as prevention department, we go and do prevention education, and we give talks on sexual assault. So that's for the whole month of April. And then the last Wednesday of April, I believe this year is on the 29th. And that's when we have our own peace or violence Denim Day. And it's like, you know, whatever we have something big. But that's what it is, the Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And everything.
You guys have any more questions?
Do you know how we could bring Denim Day to our own schools? Kind of like have an event for awareness or to educate the public on sexual assault.
We can stay connected if you would like to come back and stuff. I mean, maybe we can I can talk to Jessie. Jessie, she's the community liaison. We have VPS representatives. That means that VPS volunteers, so people who are trained like us, can go to your school, maybe have a booth table, have some pins, and some flyers, some information. And, you know, so I can work with y'all if you like, and maybe we can make it happen, make do something about it.
Do you think that we can like do that like ourselves? Like, can you teach us how to do that like ourselves? Because like, what we have to do is called service learning, and so we have to create the event ourselves basically, and so we want to know how to do it like ourselves, but like learning from how you guys do it.
So what if you were looking just to have a booth of information, or you want to go into class and say, hey, today we're teaching about sexual assault, what is it that you want to do? So it also
Like,
depends.
we're not sure yet, but we're trying to figure it out, like some things that we can do to educate people.
Okay. Yeah, so at times when, especially when we have denim day presentations or like big things in the quad and all that, it's because we have established a stop club. I don't know if you know what a stop club, but it's like students together, students together organizing peace. So we go to the schools, we're already in the schools. So say youth come to our class or our club 1-2 a month, and then we'll talk about, hey, then there's a round, what do you want to do around it? But because we're already in the schools, these youth have already received our information, our education. So then with them, we're able to work a little more, because then now that we know that they can educate others, because they say, hey, did you know, this and that. And obviously we're there to help out. So I don't know how it will look with a different group. We can still do it, but it will look different. That's what I want to say. So I think we'll definitely have like another discussion about this. But definitely we can do something. You know, it's as well about maybe asking my director, hey, like, School for Environmental Charter School came and they want to do a denim day. And then you say, hey, on April, bam, because it's the month of April. And then maybe, hey, maybe someone can invite me, maybe you can invite me, we talk to the school director or something, hey, like, can we have peace over violence and come give our class a 1-hour presentation on sexual assault? And then maybe while we're there, we maybe during the lunch, then we can have a booth set up or something, and then you can all say, hey, we're promoting Denim Day. And people are like, what is that? And then you say, oh, well, not because you took the class, you're like, oh, well, we learned that this. Or with that, you have a healthy relationship, this is going to happen to you. You know, so that way you have a background. So we can definitely talk about it. We still have a few months. You know, so I'm open to the idea, and if I can make it, I'm pretty sure that we can somehow make it that you might go back and then you can do it on your own. And I'll be like, okay, I'll be like, cool, like I let Michelle and Alice and everybody know like how to do it, and if anything, call me and myself and be like, hey, like, we got stuck with this, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely,
Thank you.
if you think about it.
Right, so you know how, I think it was about a month ago or so, Congress, which was made of like almost all Republican, voted against women having equal pay. What are your thoughts on
Yeah, it's a disgrace. I mean, look at, so you're talking about men, right?
that? Yeah,
Well, let's
they're
go.
all like old white Republican
Old
men.
white Republican men, right? Exactly. So where are the women representatives?
No, there were women representatives in you know that group. They were
But they were
Republican
for.
too. But no, they
They were-
actually voted against it
Oh, okay.
too.
Because they're
So it's
women,
like
they want
all
their pay, right?
Republican.
Okay, but what is the ratio men to women?
Wait, I'm sorry.
What is the ratio from men to women in the
The
Senate?
ratio.
The ratio.
The ratio. It's mostly men.
It's mostly men, right? So, and it goes back to this violence. Why do we have violence against women? Because even our leaders cannot say, hey, even our own women in our own country deserve equality. So there's a huge problem with that we're still thinking in conservative ways and conservative, you know, like, how is it that you're our leaders, but I'm pretty sure a lot of women over here are saying, hey, we want equal pay. Are they hearing them? Probably not, because they have an agenda. You know, how dare other women say that they want to get equal pay as us? right? So then that's when we come as civil society and we say, hey, you're my representative of Illinois. Why are you saying this? Right? You voted him, or people vote people in, right? Parents vote, or people who are over 18. So yeah, the phones are there. You can call your senator or whatever, be like, hey, like, what do you, or can I talk to him, or can I leave a voicemail? Can I write you a letter? They can send them. It's up to civil society though to organize on and say, hey, maybe there's something wrong here. Like, you mean? But I feel like, yeah, it's outrageous.
So I think I already kind of did. Okay, so this kind of goes into law a little bit. So what do you think should be the legal punishment for sexual offenders?
You know, my personal opinion is that, yeah, sexual offenders need to be punished. However, yeah, there are prisons, but I don't believe in a country where we have 2 million plus prisoners, and then we're just going to add offenders now to it. It's going to really solve the issue at hand. Yeah, I believe that, yeah, that there should be some type of punishment, incarceration, you know, get put away. But I definitely believe that maybe there should be some medical or psychological assistance or some type of educational assistance to somehow, when that person gets released from jail, then it can somehow be incorporated into society, but come from a place where, like, you know, because here at Peace Over Violence, we believe people have traumas, you know, so why did the sexual assault happen in the first place? You know? And mostly it always happens men do it to women, right? So it's like, well, what happened to that man? You know, we ask that. Like, what happened to him when he was a boy? Some maybe are just serial sexual offenders, you know, maybe they're by nature, but sometimes you have to think into traumas, you know. So I believe they should serve some time, but also have some services available. So they're not just in prison for 10 years and they come out. You know, maybe they have that anger, that rage, that violence, you know, like, oh, this will happen and I'm going to keep doing it, you know. No, so somehow reform that, be more progressive, you know. So maybe put into a different type of institution. Yeah, be locked away, but where you have counseling, where you have talks, where you see a doctor, you know, so to reform the system maybe.
So do you think that's one of the factors that allow sexual assaults to occur, like the possible trauma to the person who's committing the crime?
So you're saying that it's happening because they have a trauma?
Yeah, like something happened to that person which caused them to inflict pain on someone else, or?
You know what? I don't think that's it, because I believe it's bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we go back to media, you know. I mean, you can be, because the man can be okay, the young guy can be okay, but because he is watching hip hop shows and hip hop things, like you know, America watches what, 8 to 10 hours a day. That's normal, right? To watch TV, right? And I believe, like, if you're watching so much of this stuff, then you're gonna look at that girl and then be like, okay, what I can do to get away with this. So I don't think it's the trauma itself. I think it's a whole. We have to look at media. We have to look at how I do front. I believe it's just not one-sided. I think it has to be from all over the place.
And so, what do you know about the aftermath that the victims have after they're like assaulted, or do you not know about it because that's like
Intervention?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for one, from what I know, right, I think it's good that those who seek help, and then there's hope, right? That there's hope that you can somehow erase this from your memory, which I don't think it will ever go away. But if you keep it inside of you and you don't seek help, well, then there's an issue there. But if you come, and at least you've been seen by a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or someone with clinical credentials or whatnot, then I believe that person has a better chance to overcoming something, and then just go and live their lives. And but like I said, it's kind of like what they say, that sticks and stones might hurt or break my bones, but words will never hurt my soul, something like that. Well, I don't agree with that, because you get hit, you get a bruise, like your boyfriend punched you, and then now it's purple, but 2 weeks later you put cream, it heals, and then it's like, well, like nothing happened. But words or an act that happened to you mentally and spiritually will stay with you, right? So. So we help that, so people can go on with their days and live a normal life again, right? I mean, we can undo what happened, but it's also but there's some stuff that, because a person was already traumatized and maybe went through this, that they might fall victim to another man that will do the same pattern. So there's that risk. It's also that might happen, but I'm a huge advocate of, you need help and you need to talk. You have to speak. I just saw this movie called Speak. I don't know if you've seen it. It's by that girl from.
Is it the one with the book with it about how she was raped? And
Yeah, she's in that movie with the vampires.
Kristen Stewart, right?
Yeah. 2004, and it's about girls speaking out. Like she was raped by an upperclassman, right? And now the upperclassman, he left her, and then he got with her best friend and other young girls. And what happens in school? Oh, you tattletale, you told on him. Oh, but you're the bad one. They're pointing the finger at you, and hey, you should be pointing the finger at him. At her, it was him. So then where does it start?
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
The book's good too.
Yeah, I have the book. I just read it. Madeline, right? Madeline.
Yeah, I think that
Madeline
was-
and Andy, right? There's a story of Madeline and Andy.
Yeah.
How do you think the raper, or the person who assaults the person chooses who they want to assault, because a lot of it happens in families sometimes.
Right. Yeah, so the misconception is that, or people think that, rape happens by a total stranger, right? That I'm going to be walking by USC in the alley, and it's 7 p.m. at night, and someone's going to jump in front of me, and he's going to rape me, right? Or that the misconception is that, he's black, or that he's Mexican, he's a cholo, he's a gangster, or he's a bum in a white truck, just in a minivan going around in circles, right? Or that he has to have a lot of tattoos. This is the bad guy, right? This is the rapist, right? Or he's a homeless man, right? He's the rapist, right? That's what mass society thinks, right? But in reality, you're correct. What is it, I believe it's 86% of the times happens with an acquaintance or family member. So how do they choose? I don't know that process, but I would like to say that niece has that rapport, that closeness with that uncle. So he gets away. Maybe the parents are away now. Because mom and dad want to go to a movie, and uncle's here. Hey, uncle, can you take care of little Michelle? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Get their family. Not you, Michelle. I'm sorry. I'm just making like a picture, right? So little Michelle over here, and then Michelle's okay. And then what's the uncle do? Hey, Michelle, I really like your hair. Starts touching your hair. Oh, here's a candy. Oh, cool. My uncle's cool. Hey, Michelle, that's a nice, roping, right? They start roping. But I feel that's love. It's my uncle. Here's a lollipop. I don't know. I'm just thinking, right? Because they say they use candies, right? I'm just saying. So, and I think little by little, right? It's that girl thinks my uncle's so cool. She probably never seen it happen or coming at her. But the uncle will go ahead and, hey, the mom and dad are gone for 5 hours. Maybe that's the time that he will choose to do it. I don't know how he chose her, but maybe because of the closeness that they have. And then what would the uncle say? Hey, if you tell your mom and dad, I'll tell her that you're lying. Or hey, if you say something, I'll kill you. I'll kill your mom and dad. So they're also manipulating things. Or hey, if you say something on me, they were not going to believe you because you're a little girl. Manipulating again. So and who are we really close to us? Is our best friends or our friends or our family members, right? And you will never expect someone who's so close to you, who loves you, and who you love back, to do such harm, such violent terrorist act on you, on your own body, on your own self, on your own like spirit, right? And then you know you go through denial, right? It's like, no, like this never happened to me. Like my uncle really loves me, right? So then even like the person now is facing like interpersonal violence. It's like, or maybe my uncle's right. Maybe because I was wearing that little skirt, I provoked my uncle. So maybe I was the one that did it. And it's sad, but yeah, I think that's some of the cases, you know, that are happening out there, and why people seek help. So, you know, I believe every girl or woman stories are different. Boys too, men now are coming out. You know, was a statistic like 1 in 4 will be sexually assaulted or something, like in college, by 18. For men or boys is 1 in 6. Do you agree that boys and men is just 1 in 6 actually get assaulted or something? Why not, Allison?
They're probably underreported.
Right.
Because
Why?
a lot of times guys think that guys don't get raped or assaulted, and like I read an article about this one man in the UK, and he was raped, and he went to a policeman right after it happened, and then he told him what happened, and the policeman said that doesn't happen.
Right.
So he took it to court, and he won, fortunately, but then
Right.
a lot of people have that mindset that it doesn't happen to guys.
Right. Or like look at our men. If you all have cousins or uncles or abuelos, you know. We're like, men are like in this box, right? Men, you're tough. You are not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to tell on others. You are the head of the household. You make the money. You are heterosexual, right? You like women to be a man. You have to fit this mold. Anything outside this mold, then you're not a man, right? Now you're already feminized. You must be a woman. You must be a girl.
Or gay.
Or gay, right? Right away, oh, you're gay, right? Because now you don't like women, now then you're out. So then, like you said, the example of the man going to the police station. Well, cops are men. They work in this institutional power. How is a man going to get raped? All right? Or men or police will say, well, why don't you fight him back?
Yeah, that's what they ask.
Right? You're tough, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, so it's like breaking those misconceptions on this. It's like, and we get it as little kids, right? For us boys, if something bad happened to us, a kid was hitting us, we can't go to our dads and say, hey, dad, this kid hit me, and cry. The last thing, then they will get the bell to hit you for crying, and they'll tell you go back to school and hit that boy, because it's the men thing to do, and stop crying and stop showing your emotions. So yeah, it's underreported because men are like, I'm not supposed to say anything, like this never happened to me, because even if I said it, they're not gonna believe me. Yeah, and you're right. And I tend to believe it's a very conservative figure. I believe it's more. It's probably higher than women probably, but I don't know, I'm just saying. I mean, that's my personal belief. Because men are always told to be quiet and be in this square. Right? We don't have no feelings, right? We have no sentiments. We can't show anything, right? And now, are there services for men?
Not a lot.
Right, so we're barely catching up on that, right? Like, we also have to train and educate officers, male officers, like, hey, men do get raped. Hey, boys, little boys can be touched too, right? So it's changing the mindset. I don't believe everybody is still conscious at that level. It takes time. It takes time. When I first came here, peaceful violence, I knew a little bit of, gender violence and what's happening. But I think it's as you immerse yourself more and more, and then you start understanding things more and more, right? So yeah, so then that's what I say, education is a great way to fix society or get it to heal,
I think I asked Michelle, I think you should ask a question.
Yeah, Michelle, haven't heard from the camera, the camera person, the producer.
Let's see.
And it's okay, like, you can be as random as you want, and I think it's cool, like, to talk about these issues. Like, I don't know, like, when was the last time you talked about these issues with anybody? Yeah, you don't. So, take the opportunity. We have another 20 minutes,
Okay.
you know?
I don't know.
Don't be shy.
like writing your book, maybe?
I know I did. I told you about it. It was a double standards one.
Yeah. Anything else like you read about it?
Let's see. That's a lot. What do you think about the double standards in media, I guess?
Double standard or media? Explain a
In
little more.
media, like in media, like women are always like portrayed as the villain or with horrible character or personalities, while men are always the heroes.
That's a good observation.
Or the damsels in distress.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's showing that men are superior and number one, and women are what? Inferior, less than they're bad. And the men have to come and save the woman, because every woman needs a man to save them. I mean, look at Disney, for example, and the princess characters. I mean, those are unconscious thoughts putting into people that saying, "Oh, I need a man." I mean, you read upon, there's some research done in that Disney, the creator of Disney, that's what they were doing. It's part of a big institution that you need a man to help you. That the man is the one that does the saving, right? Because woman can never do that, right? It's never a prince who ate the frog and ate the apple, and then the woman is coming and save him. No, right? It's not. So even cartoons. So these are little girls watching this cartoon. They're like, oh, well, I have to be like Cinderella. I have to clean the house, and yeah, they're gonna be mean to me, but yeah, charming man's gonna come alive and save me. So this is what the girl's thinking as she's growing up. She's wearing Cinderella outfits for all the Halloween years. But it's like, no, it's kind of teaching our daughters, like, hey, no, you need a man. You can go to school, you can go to college, you can make your own money, you can have your own apartment, and you don't have to depend on a man. I mean, it'd be cool if you have a guy next to you as a partner and they're helping you along, but you don't have to obey to the man. You don't have to always answer to the man. You don't have to be saved by the man. So that's my take on that.
Okay.
Maybe like one more question, and then like I think Brooke said we can like look around the office.
Yeah,
and show it.
yeah, for sure.
So what is like your ultimate motivation or like inspiration to continue like working at the organization?
So my motivation, right now I'm very motivated with like the parent component, working with parents, and because parents, mothers and fathers have a lot of power. Obviously what they say goes in the homes. So then now if we can shift the way they think and then educate them on issues like this, well then they can then trickle it down to their sons and daughters. I work with a lot of grandmas. They can trickle down to their grandkids because they babysit on their hours. So and then obviously working with the youth. My motivation is that hearing those stories when a girl approaches me after the class and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Pablo, like I'm no longer with my boyfriend because it was really bad, and I feel happy now. I feel like I've done a job. I feel like that's motivation enough for me to keep doing what I'm doing. Maybe I don't touch like all the 26 hearts in their minds, But if I can just change one's world, and then that girl can then become a woman and I'll go up to college instead of getting pregnant at 14 and having no life, then that's my motivation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was such a long review.
Okay.